Okay. Quick little recap, and then we'll be jumping right in. The last time we started right in the middle of the alligator's ambush. The massive beast rushed forward, intent on ripping you all to shreds. Although a shaky start, as the creature burst forward, eventually you were able to wrangle it. Using the large frame of the creature to your advantage, you all flanked from various positions, ensuring your success as you took stabs at the creature. Just as an additional alligator appeared crawling up from the swamp water onto the embankment, seemingly called forward by the alligator, Obak, you were able to deliver a massive blow that almost put the creature down, while Akaya, using your psychic energy, just caved in the creature's skull, crushing the brain and setting it down for good. Taking this opportunity, the large alligator that seemed to have some hold put over it by the massive kind of amalgamation creature, essentially just appeared to kind of turn and look to make an escape, but was unable to, as Obak chased it down, slicing it, directly through, and eventually turning it into alligator steaks. Having slain the creature, you all took to investigating it, finding the same rune that you found at the ritual site imprinted onto the creature, just behind, I guess, like where you would, assume like an ear would be. Thinking of a way to return with evidence, you decided to just cut away the massive beast's skull and drag that back to Miktalan Kos to go along with the other pieces of evidence that you'd currently gotten a hold of. You'd all return to the road, and satisfied that you had enough evidence, looked to return back to the city. While traveling, after some time, you'd see the Lord's carriage returning, with what appeared to be a farm wagon following just behind. The coachman would settle along the road and inform you that it was to help you all return, as well as any other survivors. Fortunately in many ways, but I guess unfortunate in others, it was just you all. And so, the coachman, obviously kind of showing a bit of fear, but also a bit of relief, seeing the skull of the alligator in tow. Confirmation that he was not crazy, right? He had not seen something. What he had seen was real. And so, you were picked up, not needing to make the journey back on foot, but instead in the back of a luxurious carriage. Despite your muddy and unclean state, you all found yourselves in the Lord's carriage, the alligator's skull in tow, and the farm wagon just behind. You also had with you the rune, obviously found at the ritual site, perfectly recreated and inscribed, as well as the arm of the initial, amalgam that you'd come across in the swamps itself. After some time, maybe as the relief set in that your task was soon coming to an end, off in the distance ahead stood Miktalan Kos, its gates open, welcoming you in your return. It was at this time that, putting all the pieces together, Annister was able to recall some key details about recent activities within the city itself. One thing to be certain, the evidence, both physical and circumstantial, seemed to point towards some sort of collusion amongst the elite of the city, whatever cult group remained operating out in the swamps. And so, you all made your way through the gates of Miktalan Kos and into the city, in some ways out of the dangers of the wild, but with a feeling that, in others, maybe in a place just as dangerous, with the evidence that you may be bringing to light shortly. And so, that is where we'll kick it off. Let me go ahead and let's see. Oh, weird. I have to do something really quick. Let's see. I can switch, get things switched over, get the music going, and then we'll be. All right. Let's see. All right, I have to do this 1 second. All right, so we Okay, going. Right. So, as you all make your way into the city proper, the wagon, the farm wagon behind, rolling along, in following as the Lord's carriage that you are all riding in, kind of creaks along, making your way. Intention here, or at least it would seem the coachman's intention, is to take you right up to the Ironmonger's Hall. Is there any objection towards that? As you all kind of realize that the wagon, the carriage, I should say, with the wagon in tow, is starting to just head straight up to that way. Or if if there was any other decisions to be made prior to coming face to face, because you assume that as soon as you reach Ironmonger's Hall, you're going to basically be in attendance with Kadmal, Tesh, others.
And what time is it? What time of day?
At this point, it's probably past. It's probably past midday. Not yet evening, so there's still, like, we'll say we're getting close to evening, so probably 2 to 3 hours left of daylight. The city itself is kind of packed. There's a lot of people out and about. You can assume it's probably close to the end of the workday for all of them, so people are kind of getting on with, getting food, getting drinks. Like, the streets are packed with individuals just kind of going about the normal kind of non-work related day-to-day motions. Vendors are all set up. So, plenty of audience, I should say.
Okay. And then, yeah, I think going straight there would still be fine.
Okay. All right. So, in the suggestion, there was a bit of, particularly kind of, showing off, parading the creature's head through town. How would you like to do that? You've got it in the back of the wagon, and there's certainly enough people, passing by as you start to make the climb up towards the Ironmonger's Hall. So, how would you go about essentially kind of parading this monster's head through the streets?
If we're going there directly, we could unload it into the the square that's outside.
Oh yeah, our large open square.
Yeah. That way, plenty of people walking past will be able to see it, but without informing Cadmel at first, so he might hear the commotion outside.
Fair enough.
Of people, well,
kind of clamoring to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Obak.
Obak will take that cue as we arrive at the square, and he'll kind of take it upon himself to go and unload it, hoisting it as best he can up for everyone to see. I'm assuming it was a bit shrouded within the cart, giving everyone a clear view. And then he's kind of content to carry it along behind the carriage the rest of the way to the Ironmonger's table.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so I guess about halfway to the square, right? Obak will kind of jump out and just kind of, get the creature's large head out of the back of the wagon, just kind of showing it off as you hoist it up in the air, kind of following along like a procession with the wagons, the Lord's carriage, all up to the square that is just outside, or I guess the square that is kind of in the center where you'd find the Ironmonger's Hall and all that stuff. Okay, perfect. Anister, was there anything you wanted to do?
I'm going to watch. I'm just going to be kind of alert, looking around, see if I see anything that captures my attention.
Fair enough. Okay. Perfect. So, go ahead and roll me a perception. And Obak, I'm going to assume that you just have the strength capable of just lifting and hoisting it, but I guess do you want to make a show out of it? If you'd like to, you can go ahead and roll me, just kind of add like a little bit of flair on top of it.
Sure.
Feel free to roll me like I think there's a number you could do. You could probably do like performance. You could probably do, I would even say like gladiator probably works. Just kind of like the, like the gladiator show, like a, are you not entertained? Right. So, or like intimidation if you just wanted to, like, kind of bolster how powerful you are in this
let's
moment.
do a gladiator show here.
Gladiator. Okay, yeah. So, maybe not traditional, but at the very least, Obak has the showman, right, nature of gladiator fighting inside. Okay, so hop on out, just kind of hoisting up. Okay, so we have a few things happening here. So Obak, you jump out, get to the back of the farm wagon, and reveal the creature's massive head as you kind of rip it out and just lift it right like above your shoulders, essentially like a conquering hero of sorts. Immediately, what this gets is a rise out of the crowd. All eyes turn to kind of focus on this procession as the group of you all just kind of start to continue along your way, heading up towards the city square of Mictlan Kos. A number of people, you can hear murmurs and like whispering, and a few people will even call out to you, Obak, right? But immediately what you can hear is like this sense of like wonderment, but also fear, right? A number of people like, what the fuck, like, what is that? There's this shock and awe kind of happening amongst the crowd. Some of the more boisterous will kind of call out in kind of congratulations for the worthy kill and that kind of energy, right? Which however Obak may feel about that stuff, there's there definitely seems to be a reaction of fear and I guess like almost pride, even though I guess you're not a member of the city, but people of the city seem to be proud of you for the accomplishment, right, of decimating a creature such as this. While that's happening, Anister, you're keeping your eyes locked on, right, seeing if anything sets out as suspicious or just kind of catches your attention in this moment. As you do so, yeah, with the 25, damn, good rolls. You spot somebody amongst the crowd who, for a brief moment, has like a look of recognition on their face as Obak kind of lifts the creature's skull up and out, right? Lifting it above his head, the crowd responding. There's a person in the crowd that for a brief moment, they have a look of like surprise and recognition on their face, like they've seen what Obak is carrying now. But with the same, almost in the same moment, you're trying to get like as best as you can details from them, and it seems like they just kind of slip away into the crowd. If you'd like, you could definitely charge after them or attempt to kind of catch up with them, depending on how you feel about it. But for the most part, it seems like upon immediately seeing what Obak is on display here, they've had that shock, and then they're immediately trying to get out of sight.
Okay, I'm going to try to follow them.
Okay.
But if they get too far away from our group, I'm probably going to back off. But I just want to get an idea of where they're headed to.
Fair enough. Okay. Absolutely. And with the 25, I'll say that you absolutely can just kind of, without being too obvious about it, right? Kind of hop down out of the wagon, kind of meld into, because you're used to doing this stuff like that, right? You're used to the more stealth aspect of kind of the investigation of things. And
right.
So as you kind of jump down and kind of meld into the crowd, you see the figure kind of pushing, making a bit of a scene momentarily as they kind of shove their way through a crowd. I'm going to say with the 25, at this point they're almost in like a full dead sprint away. And so you see them as they rush down an alley. I'll say, to add a few more details given, they're wearing a long kind of, not like a cloak meant for hiding yourself under, but like a cloak meant to kind of show your status. And you can see along the cloak, even as it kind of billows behind them as they rush away, you see a number of gems, right, kind of sparkling against the light that hits it. Something like this. I would say you don't have like an immediate recognition, like, oh, this is this person. I've seen them wear this coat before. But coats like this are fashionable again amongst the more well-to-do members of Meet the Long Call. And as you watch them, they rush down an alley and they make a sharp right turn, which seems to be that they might be mirroring your ascent up towards the Ironmonger's hall.
Okay, in that case, then I'm gonna try to follow them.
Okay, you're gonna continue to try to follow. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Roll me a stealth check.
Okay.
Okay.
Find it again.
Or I guess, sorry, I should ask: are you attempting to maintain stealth as you follow them, or are you just like you see them sprinting, and so you're sprinting too? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to be a little bit stealthy on this. I don't want them. Basically, try not to stand out like I'm following them. Like
Fair
I'm
enough.
just a.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So stealth check.
Yeah, I'd say stealth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was an all-out kind of sprint to catch up with them, I'd probably go like athletics or acrobatics. But
right.
if I'll say you've got the level to keep up with them. I guess it's just your choice on how you approach it. 13. All right. I will say you do have a hero point. We start with hero points every session, so you could potentially use that to re-roll, and you'll have to keep the new roll. So.
Yeah. Let me do that, just in case.
Yeah. Perfect. Oh man.
Oh no.
Oh no. Well, hey, it's how it goes sometimes.
We all can't be heroes.
For sure. So, you go to keep up with them, but they're moving a bit faster than you're anticipating, and so you kind of have to shed some of that stealth in order to kind of maintain them in your sight, right? Because they got quite a bit of a lead on you, right, when they kind of started to sprint almost immediately. And so trying to at least maintain that distance, and if not kind of close it a bit, it kind of forces you to shed a bit of that stealth. Although as you chase them down, right, continuing to follow along them, they don't ever seem to look back and kind of, notice your presence. They seem like fully intent and focused on, making it to where they're going. And so they're just kind of pushing themselves, you can tell, just like as hard as they can as far as running. Very very familiar to you because of the recent escapades in the swamps, having to do the same. So you are rushing back. Torsten, for a bit of context, the group has decided that Obak is going to kind of lift up and essentially like make a procession out of it as the group heads up towards the Ironmonger's Hall to kind of reveal this evidence. And Obak is currently holding the alligator's skull up above his head as he follows along the carriage and wagon for the crowd to kind of, see it all and kind of interact with it. So there's no potential for hiding evidence with whatever is going on within the city. And so Obak is doing that. Annister is chasing down this somebody who had seen the skull and had a look of recognition before kind of rushing away. And Akaya is Kai, what do you know? You're currently kind of in the wagon. Just kind of
still in the wagon, drinking the shadow up to try and recover from the long day.
Fair enough. All right. So, but yeah, Torsten, is there anything you would like to do as all of this is happening?
He's just gonna be completely involved in his "I told you so" boasting. Probably wouldn't have noticed if one random person sort of ran off in the crowd unless the entire group started chasing after them.
Yeah. It just being Annister, you know, kind of keeps it all kind of self-contained in the chase, whereas the group of you, the rest of you, are just, you know, making your way up to the Ironmonger's hall. And so,
Yep.
As you continue this procession along, the crowd that has kind of seen this and kind of reacted to this, Obak, is starting to kind of gather up and follow along behind the wagon procession, right? So as you're kind of near the back holding it up, almost like a parade up towards the Ironmonger's hall, right? You've got all these people who are like completely interested, some fearfully, and others just kind of out of amazement, kind of following along, you know, kind of shouting out jeers and things of that nature, right? You know, like we even have like the tropey little kid, you know, like, how did you kill something like that? You know, like the whole nine, as the residents of Mitalan Cause kind of join along as this procession kind of climbs, and so you continue to do so. Finally, kind of reaching up near the top and out into that open square where you'd originally kind of seen those bodies headed towards the crematorium forges. Now just kind of an open square lays before you, and the wagon just continues forward, readying itself to kind of park alongside the entrance of the Ironmonger's table. But you've got this huge crowd following along. The volume is certainly rising, right, as more and more get involved, more people see what's happening, and they all kind of come to take part and maybe learn of what's, you know, going on here, right? Trying to understand the situation. And so as you kind of reach the square, and you kind of step out, Obak, with this creature's head, you know, lifted above your shoulders, fully on display. Beyond the large group that has already kind of started to follow, others, you know, round the square and from other directions are all kind of starting to gather in. So it's almost like a pouring in of individuals. And so the intention was to reach the center of the square and kind of set it down and go from there, or was it to take it all the way up to the Ironmonger's hall?
All the way up to the hall.
Okay.
But like just outside of the hall.
Okay, it's like at the bottom of the steps, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So, yeah, you'll continue to do so. Just as you reach the top, I'm gonna say Torsten and Akaya, if you've got any kind of focus on outside of the card, right? You know, the carriage that you're in, which is this kind of luxurious lord's carriage. If you've got your head kind of out, and you would see a figure kind of darting up the steps and rushing into the Ironmonger's hall. Just as you kind of reach the square, and you've still got, you know, like 80, 100 feet ahead of you until you reach the hall itself. But yeah, full dead sprint, you know, throwing themselves up the stairs. And honestly, you've been able to keep up, but they essentially make it to the stairs and they're bounding, you know, steps. And by the time you've kind of reached where the group has kind of all reached together, unless there's something you want to do to impede their movement, I'm going to say that they've reached the top of the stairs and they've already kind of ducked into the Ironmonger's hall, just kind of as the whole group here starts to kind of congregate at the steps of the Ironmonger's hall.
Okay, I'm going to try to pursue them into the Ironmonger's hall.
Okay, so you're just going to rush right up in.
Yep.
Yeah, allowing the others to kind of do their business at the base of the steps. Okay, so yeah, you throw yourself forward, continuing along. The procession comes to a stop just at the bottom of the stairs. And so Obak finally, I mean, you've been carrying it. It's definitely heavy. Not too heavy for Obak, but at the very least, you know, in this moment, just like, oh, right, finally being able to just set the creature's head at the base of the stairs.
Obak was certainly fueled by the adoration of the crowd around him, reveling in it. You know, he's never been able to properly receive that much credit for a hunt before, so quite exhilarating.
Yeah, and even in the past experiences, like a gladiator of sorts, right? Nothing quite like this, right? Getting the entirety of the city, it would seem, right, involved and interested in what is happening. And so, yeah, a crowd starts to kind of form, and they leave a big enough space for the wagons and such. The coachman will kind of jump down from the Lord's carriage and immediately start to kind of, you know, set some sort of a lineup, right? Like, you know, keep your distance, all of these things. And which surprisingly enough, the crowd seems to do in this moment. But they are all kind of looking, pointing, speaking amongst themselves on the state of this creature's skull and what it could have been and what is that, and I didn't know we had things like that around here. And so you all reach Kai and Torsten. The carriage comes to a stop at the steps of the Ironmonger's Hall, so you're able to kind of climb on out, and you've got this crowd around you, just kind of clamoring to see what's going on here, while Annister is rushed right into the hall itself.
Okay, so I'll head on in to see Mr. Tash.
Okay. All right. So so you kind of not giving the crowd too much focus, you kind of jump on out and start to make your way up the steps. Okay. Torsten.
Yeah, sure enough, he'll help heft out the skull, sort of patting it proudly like it's his proof. Sort of beaming at everyone. He's looking forward to the meeting with
Kadmo.
Karmak.
Yeah. Kadmo Tesh. Yeah.
Cadmouth. He's meeting with Cadmouth, basically gloating.
Absolutely. So Torsten's got this gloating kind of swagger, right, to everything going on. Obok as well. The coachman kind of assures you, like, oh, I'll keep him from getting too close, right? And so the intention is to leave the skull outside, or to bring it in, I should say.
The intention would be to leave it outside, so that after we've laid all the facts out to Cadmail, we can take him out in front of the crowd to see his departed elephant.
Fair enough. Okay, so you leave it outside on show.
Yeah.
So yeah, the coachman will kind of maintain, like, hey, and he too, almost kind of gloating, like, I told you so. He's got that kind of energy as well as he kind of speaks out to the crowd. He's almost like your hype man in this regard, right? Like, he immediately kind of goes into the whole like a spiel, right? Of I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew what I had seen out in those swamps. This attacked us along the route, along the route through the swamps, as me and my lord and his guards, as we were making our way into the city. And there's people kind of asking him. He's taking the chance to be the spotlight for the moment, as the four of you kind of make your way into the Ironmonger's Hall itself. And so, as you all enter in, Annister, you've kind of rushed forward, chasing this figure with the fine cloak on, and shortly after, the others, all three of you kind of follow along, Akaya, Torsten, and Obok, making your way back into the hall. Annister, as you kind of chase in, you kind of immediately come to a stop. The figure that you're chasing after, you see them standing kind of tall. They look younger, maybe 19, right? They're human, male. Okay. They have, now as you kind of see them clearly, the cloak of the fine cloak kind of, or rather the headpiece kind of pulled back. This is somebody who is very important. I guess you hadn't known for sure, right? Because you weren't entirely sure who was in the Lord's carriage. But as you see them now, the various gems and kind of fine stones that are interweaved in the cloak that they're wearing, kind of a sign of their status. You assume, at least on first glance, that this is the Lord, right? The Lord of the from the carriage itself. Let's see. And there stood the Lord of the Akari family. Sorry, I should have said it. Lord of the Akari family. this must be one of the young sons of the family or some sort, right? Like, the scions of what's going to be leading that family in time. But they're kind of leaned over. They're huffing, breathing heavily. They got their hands on top of the large kind of wooden table that now sits kind of Cadmel Tesh, right? Who's kind of like leaned forward, like trying to like get the young lord to kind of calm down, right? Like what's happening? What did you see? Kind of pressing them for information. But before they can get a word out from them, right? Cadmel kind of shift his focus and see you enter in, Annister, and like a look of like understanding kind of befalls, and then he sees shortly behind Akaya, Torsten, and Obak, you all enter in, and immediately upon seeing you, Torsten, he's got this this kind of smirk crosses Cadmel Tesh's face, like he's won, right? And kind of crosses his hands and then sets them down and stands up at the table. Finally, I've seen you've all see that you've all returned. I assume now we can put this business behind us about whatever you claim to be happening in the swamp and finally get on with it. So, what can you tell me then, Akaya, as he kind of turns his focus towards you? Because I guess you were the assumed bought-in ally of Cadmel Tesh, right? Like, he seems to. It's almost like he has no idea what's coming, right? So, is it as I've said, a waste of time?
That will depend on what comes next, Mr. Tesh. We have come to present the findings of our investigation. First, Mr. Annister, if you could tell Mr. Tesh about the burial the burial what was it called? The carriage with all the corpses on it. I've forgotten what you call that.
Oh yeah, well, essentially it was just a wagon of corpses making their way to the crematorium forges. That was the big thing.
The corpse wagon.
Yeah. Cadmel Tesh is kind of completely taken off guard. He's already kind of got this look of confusion starting to kind of spread across his face, like this is not the way this was supposed to go, right? And Annister, as you kind of as you step forward and kind of start to relay the information, Cadmel Tesh is going to look at you, Torsten, and kind of squint his eyes in your direction. Does not look happy at all. But Annister.
Oh, that'll really cheer Torsten up. Okay, in which case he'll say, Kame, it's done. No more calling me a mad or dwarven fool. I've got all the proof I need, and I'm terribly sorry, GM, but I'll have to be right back 1 second.
Fair enough. All right, Annister.
So I'll turn towards Cadmel Mesh and say, sir, we have found quite a bit of information that we found the very first day that we after we met with you and took your task. As we were leaving this fine establishment, I discovered that there were bodies going to the crematorium due to the diseases that have been going on. And when checking the bodies, I discovered there's a necromantic symbol on the bodies that had me suspicious and concerned. But once we went into the swamp area with Torsten kind of guiding us there, we discovered a creature. And then I'll turn towards Akaya, and I assume Akaya, you still got some of our evidence with us, the amalgam's arm, more or less, right? Okay.
Akaya would still have it wrapped up in the the I think it was like the dueling cloak cape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still got that arm wrapped up in the dueling cape.
Yeah. So I present that as Anister is relaying it to Cadmel.
As you do so, the camo test doesn't allow you to approach and kind of place it. Instead, like with he makes like a you know, and then he'll snap his fingers. And Ekros, the assistant, right? The assistant to Cadmel that you met on the first session. They'll kind of step forward and stop you about halfway to the table, and then they'll retrieve the item from you directly, and kind of take the arm, kind of looking at it like they're unsure of what they're seeing. And they'll kind of turn and bring it up to the iron to the table, and kind of set it down and leave it for Kadmaltesh to kind of look over. And Kamal kind of lean forward and kind of take a look at the arm, kind of, you know, looking back and forth, kind of judging it based on the appearance of it. And we'll say that at that moment, that's when Torsten, you kind of step forward, right? No more calling me and you know, crazy old fool of sorts.
This is it, Kalme. I've got all the proof I need. I was right all along.
He looks up at you with a look of disgust on his face, but he doesn't yet kind of react to this information. He looks at you and then kind of gets back to looking at the arm. So, is this it then? A single arm and some bodies with a strange rune on them?
No, this is just the beginning. So after we defeated this creature, which unfortunately was not a normal creature, it was an amalgamation of different body parts and such, and was a very tough creature for us to defeat. Me and my companions were continuing to explore the swamp, and then me and one other companion had discovered a altar and had found necromantic symbols, and I draw a couple of the symbols out and then offer it to his assistant to bring towards Kalmesh.
Yeah. The assistant kind of without needing to be pushed towards it this time. They'll kind of come across and just kind of take the listen, like the paper, or what do you want to call it? From your hands, and kind of bring it up and place it alongside. And this really seems to get Cadmael's attention. As he places it down, he kind of looks up at you all, kind of allowing like a quick scan across all of your faces, and then we'll kind of just like lean back down and look into, and you know, seem to intently focus and study on these runic symbols. You found these at an altar of sorts.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And then the final piece of evidence that we have is that we were attacked by another amalgam-like creature. It was a combination of an alligator and an elephant. And we have brought the head back as to show proof of what we have found and what we have defeated in the swamp.
At the mention of the elephant, he kind of shoots his head up and looks in your direction, Canister. Then looks over at Ekros. And to bolster that argument, the young lord of the Akara family will kind of speak up. It is exactly how they say. We were ambushed upon the road, as I told you. Guards defended me and stayed behind, but I know what I saw, and my coachman knows what they saw as well. It is a strange creature of possible size. And Cadmal seems to be kind of like almost reeling from the information, like, just kind of looking back and forth from the arm to the runes upon the page. and then you'll kind of look up and, well then, where did you say this creature's head is? I don't have to see it with you now.
Come with me, Mr. Tesh. I beckon him towards the door.
Kind of stands tall and looks around, looks over at his assistant. Very hesitant at this moment, but kind of straighten himself out, right? Kind of brush the front part of his clothing off, and then kind of for the first time you've seen it, kind of take a step from behind the table and kind of make his way down amongst you all, with the assistant following close behind, as well as the young lord of the Akari family. As Kamaltesh kind of approaches, he gets real close to you, Akai, will kind of like side up to you and kind of like whisper, like, "You're sure an elegant, elephant-like creature. This is not a mistake."
I'm afraid not. You might even recognize the shape of your previous pet's tusks.
Kind of sighs heavily, and he's sweating. He's, and there's already kind of like perspiration starting, like that nervous sweat. He'll follow along. So, but he keeps looking at Torsten. Keeps kind of darting his eyes in that direction. And then back to Kaya, and then he'll kind of lean in. Kaya, you said that Torsten was led you to all of this.
Indeed, he did. However, it would seem that Torsten is not capable of making such things. He certainly has abilities and gifts that have helped us, but it is my strong belief that to suspect him would be incorrect.
You aren't sure if you've gotten through, but either way, the group of you, the procession, as you all kind of make your way back to the entrance of the Ironmonger's Hall and kind of swing open the doors, and standing out in the city square is a huge portion of the city, right? All kind of gathered in. Has to be quite a few hundreds, right? Now all kind of vying for a position to kind of see this creature's skull, and the coachman is ever doing like the perfect job of kind of boasting about the situation and taking the chance to really live in the limelight for a moment, but kind of quickly recognizes that you've all exited, and kind of like quiet themselves down. Kadmaltesh at this moment will kind of step forward, placing himself in front of you all, right? And will be the first to kind of start descending the stairs, with the rest of you following behind, making a concerted effort and purposely doing this, right? Quickly heading on down towards the skull of the massive beast, as it kind of lays, and will immediately go to inspecting it. The crowd is kind of hushed down. There's a few whisperings amongst themselves, but they all seem to be kind of awaiting the word of the Forge Master himself. But as the four of you kind of descend the stairs as well, right? Does anybody do anything as Katmao is kind of looking intently at this creature's skull?
I'd lean into Cadmail to tell him like more privately, so that the crowd can't quite hear that we know not of your involvement in this, Mr. Tesh. We do not know if your pet was merely a victim or if it was supplied by yourself. However, what is certain is that now you have an opportunity to help us track down the necromancer, as they are still at large and actively producing these beasts.
You can tell that you've got Kadmao in a real unfortunate position here, right? The energy, I will say, you know, even without having to make a perception check, you get the feeling that Kadmao is looking for an out, or at the very least to pawn this off as some sort of other explanation, right? Asking you, Akaya, about Torsten leading you, you get the feeling like maybe Kadmao is looking for like a, you know, like a patsy, so to speak, right? Like, you know, Torsten led you to all these places, right? So clearly they've set this whole thing up, right? But now, kind of out in front of the crowd, all of these people here watching, and with you kind of leaning in and reminding of the elephant, and you know the fact that at one point Kadmao himself had something, you know, had a creature like this in his own possession. He'll just kind of, you know, like just squeeze his jaw shut tight as he kind of, you know, realizes that he doesn't really have anywhere to go with this, right? So he'll kind of take a moment to center himself, right? Recompose himself before kind of climbing up the stairs a bit to get a bit of a head above the crowd, right? And he'll kind of call out to the people of Migdalan Cost, right? Like
so while he's doing this,
go ahead.
I'm going to position myself where Cadmel Tesh is, where I'm kind of between Cadmel Tesh and Torsten, just in case.
Just in case. Okay, so you're putting your body blocking, just in case.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Does anybody else do anything specific as the Forge Master of the city seeks to kind of get into position for whatever announcement they have to make towards the people of Migdalan Cost? Does anybody want to do anything before he even starts uttering a word, right? Like addressing the crowd yourselves or anything along those lines?
See any like city guards or like personal guards of Cadmails around?
Around?
There's something.
Yeah, there's a couple, but they're closer to the top of the stairs, right? They're not like super close with all of this. You know, they're good. Yeah.
Obak will be kind of lingering at the back of the group, possibly still like up a stair or two, you know, trying to look tall.
Okay. Yeah, trying to look tall. Fair enough. Akaya and Torsten, anything? Or just kind of waiting to see what happens?
Just waiting to see. I don't think Torsten would address the crowd on his own.
Fair enough.
Same.
All right. So, yeah, after kind of recomposing himself, Kadmao Tesh kind of reframes with the, you know, the straight back, the kind of tall stance, right? The broad, kind of wide-shouldered stance. And we'll start to address the crowd. You know, like, people of Migdalan Kos. I know rumors have been spread in recent days of strange activity on the outskirts of our city, potentially threatening our beautiful and beloved city of Migdalan Kos. But I assure you, with the Ironmonger's table call for adventurers and warriors alike, you see now that we already have we already have results coming in. These fine warriors have already taken an expedition into the swamps. And look what they return with. A strange creature of unknown origins. And it is here now slayed, never to be bothered, never to hurt or harm any of the people of Meet the Lancos in the future. This is what we are looking for. This is the very proof that Meet the Lancos stands strong in face of whatever it may be that surrounds our fine city. He'll kind of extend his arms, right, like a welcoming, holding his arms open. Join me in celebrating these fine warriors for their actions and their ability to keep our city safe from harm. There will be more in the future, but nothing to worry about for the Ironmonger's table, as well as the families of Meet the Lancos. Will keep our city safe regardless of what is out there. So, as he kind of bids the crowd to kind of, join him in celebrating these fine warriors, right? The crowd itself will kind of, fully bought in to the rhetoric, right? Is kind of clapping, cheering, and celebrating this moment. Celebrating the four of you as warriors who have made their way into the swamps and have come back heroic and successful in slaying a mighty beast from within it. Without having to make perception checks, it's very clear that that Kadmao has no intentions of, any of the other insinuations or potential evidence pointing towards any other direction other than strange activity outside the city, right?
God damn him, that fool. What's he doing? He's trying to just ignore it, pretend the problem's all solved now because we brought him one skull?
I turn to Torsten and say, he's being a diplomat. And I agree with you. I don't think this isn't the right direction, but I don't think this is the right time to call him out on it. Let the people feel like they've accomplished something, but we know that there's more to it. We'll have to corner Cadmel Mesh in private. And like you said, we need to do the right thing, and we're not doing it right now.
Torsten will just grumble at this, shake his head, and say they should be sending the damn militia out into the swamps. All this will do is make the people complacent. That's all.
Whispering amongst yourselves as the roar of the crowd and claps and cheers for your accomplishment drown out your words from, besides each other, kind of hearing back and forth what each other is saying. Kadmao has this look of just complete satisfaction, right? Just, almost like he's the hero himself, like kind of taking in the glory of the moment. And we'll kind of give a look particularly to probably Torsten, right? And just kind of give like a knowing nod. And then with that kind of same smirk, kind of turn and start to ascend the steps, heading back into the Ironmonger's Hall. You can see him kind of wave with a hand, and a number of guards will kind of start to descend the stairs, making their way towards the skull of the creature. As he starts to ascend, as he kind of informs the guards of what to do and kind of turns back. Well then, come inside and claim your prize for the excellent job that you have done. Still keeping that diplomatic kind of, deception kind of going, right? That like snake oil salesman charm continuing. As he kind of says it, he'll just kind of turn and make his way back up and into the Ironmonger's Hall. So the cheers of the crowd, the group of armed guards kind of head on down and look to, just kind of load the skull back into the back of the wagon and start to clear a path for, it looks like, immediately looks like the wagon is heading the same direction as the crematorium forges. The guards start to kind of, take care of the skull and start to kind of disperse the crowd that, stands in front of the Ironmonger's Hall. Kadmao himself has kind of disappeared back into the building. What are you four doing?
I'm gonna follow Cad Meltesh back into the Ironmonger's table.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same, but I advise Obok and the
Torsten.
Thorsten as well, but also the guy driving
The coachman.
Yeah, the coachman. That's it.
Yeah.
That I don't want that skull being destroyed. We can't lose this evidence.
Obak will nod in understanding and kind of split from the group, seeing if Torsten and the coachman will follow him in following the skull in the wagon.
I don't trust him. I'm with you, Obak.
All right.
Thank you.
Torsten and Obak separate from the group to follow the wagon, while Akaya and Annister make their way inside the Ironmonger's Hall. So, Akaya and Annister, as the two of you follow Kadmao up and into the Ironmonger's Hall, immediately Kadmao is kind of right back to the desk, just kind of sits down appropriately and kind of bid the two of you forward. So then, investigator of the city and somebody I thought was an ally has come to me with bad information. Well, I suppose then. You see, he's kind of thinking to himself. I need the two of you to give me perception checks here.
All right. Can I use my pursuit lead on this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all connected.
All right.
Perfect. 2. 12. Okay, so Annister. You seem to be most alert in this moment. As the two of you enter, kind of, make your way roughly about halfway, into the hall, right? Close to the, about halfway between the door and the desk. You are the one to notice that there are a number of armed guards around you, but not, they're not aggressively around you, right? They're not like closing in, but they're certainly in places that you may not typically see them, right? Like, they're all a bit, if they were there for like kind of ceremonial guardsmanship, like it would be easy to kind of write it off, but they're a bit close for comfort in that regard. I'll say you're the only one to kind of pick up on this. Akaya, you might be too involved and kind of focused on Cadmo in this moment. So, well,
All right. So I'm gonna look at Cadmel. I am gonna try. I think I'm gonna try deception.
okay.
And so,
What are you lying about or deceiving about?
all right, I'm gonna look at him and say, you know, and basically say, we brought this evidence with us, but as a seasoned investigator, I've always made sure I saved copies of my evidence in case something happens, so we don't lose it.
So you're attempting to lie about having another copy of the runes and stuff?
Yeah. Yes.
But it's not true, right? Like he has.
No.
Okay, yeah. So he's got the arm, he's got the skull heading to the crematorium forge, and he's got the runes as they are written, right?
Right. About the only thing I could produce right now would be the runes, but
Yeah,
he has the arm, and I don't have a backup of that.
fair enough. Kemo just kind of nods. It's hard to tell if he buys it or not. But well, in either case, you've brought forward evidence, and the people now feel safer than ever. And so, I think, even if I do not appreciate the position you attempted to put me in, I can still appreciate the act, and that you have completed your expedition. So, kind of looks back, and then it seems to occur to him, wait, where's Torsten and the other one? Are they not coming to collect their prize?
We're collecting it on their behalf.
Yes, we shall pass it on to them.
We already know that Anisher's not doing a great job. Akaya, if you would like to give a deception check here. Although not entirely untrue. So,
I mean, yeah,
technically,
I'm not lying. I will take take the money to them.
Yeah, technically not lying, but because he's already on guard about a lie because of Anisher.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll, and then but I'll give you a circumstantial bonus. I'll give you like a +2.
All right.
Because there's some truth into this one, right? Like you are gonna give them their money, but oh man, damn, what a good clutch, good roll. I see then. Well, what did we agree on? Kind of stops and thinks.
Mr. Tesh, before we get to the reward, you should not take this show as being hostile towards yourself. This was a test for you as the source. We have ideas about the identity of this necromancer. This necromancer, that I will remind you, is still at large and actively producing creatures which are taking lives. This person could be hard to get a hold of, and so a person such as you might be able to help us find the source of these abominations and put it to rest for good.
You can tell he's kind of a bit upset by what you're saying. But he's holding back. He will kind of look around almost nervously. To both sides, kind of ensuring that the kind of coast is clear, so to speak. And then he'll kind of stand up. He stand up and then kind of look at the two of you and kind of recomposing himself again, right? Not letting himself kind of lash out. Gentlemen, if you could please join me in my private office. I think it is best to discuss things of that nature there. And kind of gives you a look, like he's trying to say, like, you really want to listen to me now, right? Like, nonverbal communication.
Right.
And so he'll kind of just turn and start to make his way towards his private office within the Ironmonger's Hall. The two of you follow?
I follow, but package up the hand again first.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah. you reclaim the hand.
Yes.
I'll say he's still got the runes. Still got the page of the runes, right? He's kind of looking at it as he leads the way. So the two of you follow?
Yeah.
All
Yes.
right.
I'm going to be a little bit more on my guard.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the hand on the weapon, but not drawn, right?
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. So, two of you kind of follow in behind. Obak and Torsten. As the two of you travel along with the guards, as they are, they're basically kind of like like they're escorting the wagon towards the crematorium forges, right? They've kind of taken just position on either side, right? They don't seem too bothered, right? They've got their shields kind of readied, but they don't have like weapons drawn or anything like that. And I'll say there's 6 of them, right? 2 up near top, 2 in the middle, and 2 near the rear. So as the two of you kind of go to follow them, there's only one reason you would come down this road and make the long cost, and that is if you are heading straight towards the crematorium forge. So, as the two of you follow along, the wagon is led by the farmer, right? Not the coachman. The coachman and the young lord are back. They've stayed behind. They haven't followed along. So it's just kind of like this, poor farmer.
Are the guards close enough that they could hear us whispering? If I wanted to whisper something to Obek.
Well, I guess it depends on how close do you want to be when you're following along. Like, do you want to be super close to the wagon, or do you want to like just have it in your sight, but got good 30 feet away from to maintain that the ability to whisper to each other?
Okay, in which case, as we're walking along, I'll kind of gently pull on Obek's cloak to try and encourage him to fall back a bit with me.
Okay.
When there's a bit of distance between us and the cart, I'll kind of give him a look as if to say, do you see what I see here?
And Obak will kind of like, he's not entirely reading between the lines, but kind of shrugs and nods, assuming that he can follow.
Obek, you know the city better than me. This is the way to the crematorium, ain't it?
he'll kind of like look around and nod. Oh yeah, totally, yeah. As if he knew all along what
Yeah,
Torsten
yeah.
was talking about.
Okay. Well, why are they taking it this way?
Well, are they just adding it to the other pile of corpses to be recycled, so to speak?
This is our precious evidence. Can't let them destroy it. I don't trust Calme. He's trying to brush this all under the rug.
Even that much I can tell. Well, should we like retake it back? Where else do we keep it for safekeeping? Or like where else are we going to reuse it? Like who do we take it to if he's not going to take it seriously?
Thorsten will just look crestfallen as you raise all these very good points. He'll, well, they are damned if I know, but I don't want them to destroy this skull.
Well, should we just ask where they're taking it? The farmer seems, just to be useful. Did he receive orders from someone? Obak will kind of decide to, look for Torsten for confirmation. If not, he's just going to go, approach the procession.
All right, fine. We'll try it. See what they say.
Obak will kind of, jog up past the guards, straight up to the farmer at the front of the procession.
So you jog on up. Yeah, the farmer is just kind of like leading the way. But the two guards that are up close to that area, just seem kind of more intently focused on the path forward. They're not looking, because thankfully nobody's kind of followed along as like a big group to keep eyes on this, right? So nobody really gives the two of you, and actually because you're the, quote unquote kind of heroes of the day, none of the guards kind of give you any shit as you kind of stay close. So as you kind of head on up, Obak, the farmer is definitely like an older, weathered farmer. He's just kind of, happily kind of at it, going along, just leading the horses the direction towards the crematorium forges. And you'll kind of see you as you approach and kind of give a nod. Good day to you. Are you off to you're following along to see the creature off then?
Yeah, I suppose. I just wanted to thank you again for giving us a bit of a ride. The little bit I carried it there, I am sure thankful that I didn't have to carry it the whole way back to the city here. So again, you have my thanks.
Indeed. Yeah, it's it's I was paid for it, so I'm not. I shouldn't be the one to thank. It was the coachman and the lord of the fair wagon. They had a mind to ensure that I tag along, and they rewarded me handsomely, so I cannot complain. But again.
Good to hear that you've been compensated for your time and efforts here. Were you just paid to bring it all the way to the city, or see to it to be disposed at the forges here?
Oh well, that's what the forge master told the guards. They just informed me that they would be escorting me down to its final resting place at the forges up ahead. Kind of speaks out a bit, so I guess the evidence has been seen, and they look to get rid of it, join the ash, and to be turned into a blade at the bottom of the waters.
Do you really think such a creature deserves a blade? Like, I mean, I would prefer to mount this on my wall. I can't quite say I was the one who made the fatal blow, but I played quite a role in slaying this creature. It feels like a bit of a waste to just dispose of it as like the same as a human. Does it really deserve the same proper burial?
I agree. I'd have this on my wall if I could. I'm sure a number of taverns in the city would love to have such a thing to bring in the crowds, but It is the Forge Master's will. So.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose.
Well,
Well,
do you want a chance to look at it at least? I'm sure the guards here don't mind that which who slayed the beast to take a final look at it.
yeah. How close would you say we are to the entrance to the forge?
We'll say about halfway there. So, yeah, plenty of time.
Okay. I'll look to Torsten and be like, well, what do you reckon? Should we get one last look for the memories?
I reckon we should, yeah.
Yeah, and the guards don't kind of interfere as the two of you kind of climb into the back of the wagon.
And Obak will discreetly lean into as best he can, discreetly I should say, to Torsten and say, okay, now what? Do we steal it? It's gonna be awful hard to just run with this, and I didn't think this far ahead, I'll be honest.
Boston will sort of cross his arms and think for a second. And he'll turn to the farmer and be like, where's the closest tavern to here? A big one, preferably. One with a lot of guests.
I guess probably the Rampant Ram. Kind of motions off with a hand in a random direction. But somewhere between here and the forge. Why?
I just had a great idea, and he'll turn to the guards and say, here we go, boys. We're going to take this down to the Rampant Ram and give it to them.
The guards will kind of look in confusion to each other. I'm one of them, the more confident, I guess, out of the six will kind of step forward. I'm sorry, hero, but it is on orders from Kadmal Tesh that we are to take this to the crematorium forges without delay.
Well, what's the issue? If he's going to go to the crematorium, it's just going to get destroyed anyway. Might as well give it to the inn where it'll bring the people some joy.
Yeah, you want to make sure that just some proof that they're safe, can quite literally hang over their heads, give them a sense of security. Doesn't that bring you a bit of a shred of, maybe pride that the city is, well protected by both you and adventurers alike?
The two of you
Plus,
can
there'd
make
be a risk of the curse if you just burned it in a crematorium.
curse.
Swamp curse.
Kind of
How
looks
do you
at
think
the
such
other.
a creature came to be? Obak will look at him like, oh, come on, isn't it obvious?
Guard is kind of taken aback by that. Kind of looks at the others. There is no harm in it. The Rampant Ram. Curse. You kind of you see him kind of weighing the whole curse statement to himself, right? Like how how worthy of a curse is this, right? He's kind of weighing like how much he'll be in trouble if he goes against, and if anything, surely somebody else can come along and pick it up and deliver it if it need be.
Listen, tell you what. Between you and me, we'll say you brought it all the way down to the forge, and if someone notices that it turned up in the Rampant Ram, well, that seems like the Forge Master's people's problem, right? If someone took it from their lot, it's their job to watch it, right? You just had to bring it down.
You're right. Okay. We delivered it to the crematorium for. Kind of gives you like a look, like, right?
Right.
Obak will give a approving nod and a hearty thumbs up.
Here, I'll sign for it. I'll sort of joke.
No. It is it would be a shame to destroy such a thing. I was surprised by the order myself, but you are right. A place where the citizens of the city can see it and look upon it with pride is this is the proper decision, and I think whatever has fueled the Forge Master's reasoning for destroying such a thing, he'll come to see that this is a good thing that it was saved. And yeah, yes, it's fine. Yes, to the Rampant Ram then, and he'll kind of look to the farmer in the wagon, and like to the Rampant Ram, and the farmer will just kind of nod along. He's not going to fight against the armed city guards, right? This is an older farmer. What the hell is he going to do? So, yeah, without protest, he'll kind of adjust the path of the wagon, kind of cut off from the main road and start to head down some of the smaller side roads till you reach the Rampant Ram, which is almost like an infamous location within Mictlan Cost, right? Probably the largest of the taverns within the city itself. And as you arrive, it is already in a raucous state, as individuals are not necessarily fighting each other, but there's a lot of aggressive activity here, right? And so you arrive at the Rampant Ram. Okay.
Yeah, sure enough, and we don't have to roleplay out the whole thing, Jim. Assuming that the innkeeper's happy to take the skull, which I assume that he probably is.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. You take it on in. The innkeeper is, more than welcome to take it, and immediately looks to kind of get it placed above the bar itself, right? Immediately kind of going to work to put it to show. Despite the fact that, again, this head is not fully decomposed. It's not the skull. Oh, sorry. There is still meat on this, but yeah, even with that in case, right? Not even taking it down to the skull or anything, like putting it up with the meat still on it. The quickly decaying flesh of this creature will just kind of set it on display. And so yeah, absolutely.
Torsten. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say,
the blade's like fine wine.
Can Torsten spend like 2 gold just buying drinks for the whole bar, trying to get like a whole bunch of people in it so that everyone can see it? And
absolutely,
knows it's here.
Yeah, absolutely. You go around, all right? Two gold. I mean, oof, that's a lot. So, that'll pay for the cheapest of drinks, for a number of individuals, and so almost in like an uproar, right? Those raucous members of the Rampant Ram will, cheer in celebration and thanks as you buy around for all, and immediately drinks and mugs will start to get filled and passed out as a number of individuals, some from outside, others from inside, just kind of partaking, lucky to have been here when they were, as the skull of the alligator is placed on full display. So
well, that'll give it a place to keep, and hopefully the people in this bar won't give it up easily if the Forge Master comes calling for it.
I think our job is done here.
So
Yes, head back to Calmay, you'll say with a shudder.
yeah. So two of you satisfied that you've saved the creature's skull just in case. You turn back and start to make your way back to the Ironmonger's Hall. And so, while that's happened, Annister and Akaya, two of you have been escorted and made your way into the personal office of the Forge Master himself. As you are brought inside, Cadman himself kind of holds open the door as the two of you pass and step into the room, and then kind of with a quick shutting of the door with a single kind of look out into the hall, and then a series of locks click behind you. Either of you, if you were to kind of look in that direction, just kind of focus on Cadman for the moment, you would notice that as each lock is put into place, an arcane sigil momentarily kind of appears, almost like a flutter in front of the door itself. As each kind of lock turns and closes. And Kamal, with like a heavy sigh as he kind of finishes the final one, and this blue sigil kind of briefly kind of floats for the moment and then kind of wavily disappears. He kind of just like kind of turns back to the two of you. Well, yeah, you have surely stumbled upon an unfortunate, for me as well, an unfortunate finding. He'll kind of look around, and he's got this casual attitude to him, although he's definitely kind of exasperated, with the heavy amount of size. He's got this kind of more like casual, the stiff and proper kind of, display that he's been putting on kind of drops into this more, and he'll just kind of turn and head over to this small little, what looks to be like a spirit bar, right? Like a number of spirits all kind of on display with a number of finely crafted glass glasses, like glass cups, I guess you could say. Well, the two of you partake. He pours himself one, and he's, it's like a triple. It's like, way more than the typical kind of amount it would be. He pours himself like a full cup. But as he kind of turns and looks at the two of you, he pulls out 2 more glasses and kind of, momentarily holds the bottle as though he's going to fill them. Kind of waiting for your response, Akaya and Danister.
Thank you.
Kind of quickly pour one up.
Yeah, I'll take one and just hold it.
Does the same. So he'll set them down, and inside his office there's a book, kind of bookshelf that is essentially the entire wall of the office, right? All around you there are a number of heavy tomes that have all kind of been meticulously placed. Deep kind of dark wood is used all around. This office is of a genuine kind of luxury, and even the heavy wooden table that is the personal desk of the Forge Master. He will kind of circle around it and kind of sit down heavily while taking the drink that he had poured for himself. He set the 2 in front of each one of you on the desk. But as he kind of like slumps into his chair, he'll kind of just drink back a good portion of that of the liquor he's kind of poured himself, and kind of just set it down. Well, I understand that a lot of the evidence that you have gathered is circumstantial in the insinuations that it makes, and trust me, there's nothing I would like more than to see them to the end. But the way things work in this city, I'm not sure that there is a satisfactory end to this situation. Not in the way that you seem to be striving for, Akaya. We had a situation not long ago, and I think Anister might be aware of some of the details, although not much of them, because we did such a good job with covering things up. Families of Mithalankhos are incredibly powerful. Without them, the Ironmonger's table ceases to exist. My position as Forge Master is nothing but ceremony. Even now, I've asked you into my office to avoid them, to avoid their scrying and ability to look in on what is going on. And I am sure even now, I'm sure that there is talk amongst them that something has happened, and maybe they are attempting to look upon me as we speak, but thankfully the defense of this room will hold. I know what you want. Justice in its truest form. to put an end to whoever it is amongst the families that has connections with whatever ongoings are happening in the swamps. And, I've tried my best in my own way, in a way that keeps Mictlan Kos running. That keeps the keeps the people of the city safe. And with that, there are unfortunate sacrifices we must make. Finding and prosecuting and outing and stopping whoever it is that is wherever it is that is doing this necromancer, as you call them. I think, unfortunately, is one of those amongst the families themselves. And to attack them is to invite chaos to the city. Invite ruin to the city, potentially. The other families of Mictlan Kos would not see to it that one of their own is laid low or brought down. I'm sorry. He kind of says with like a genuine, tone to his voice. The drink will help you understand it better. And he kind of like nudges forward to take a sip.
I'm going to use thievery and can kind of like do a sleight of hand on the drink.
Okay.
And look like I actually take a sip, but I don't.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Come on. Good roll.
Ooh. Very, very timely. Akaya. As the Forge Master kind of bids you to take a drink. And one thing is he poured it openly and he's already taken a large drink of his own, so but there's a little bit of weird energy there, right? Like, maybe something's happening, like so how are you handling the pressure to take a sip?
I ignore the cup for the moment. To press Cadmel instead. I understand there have been incidents in the past. However, the situation has changed. We have the power of what was the name of the lord that we crossed?
Oh, you didn't get their first name, but you got the family name, the Akari family.
Yeah, the Akari. We have the support of the Akari family. They have been wronged in this debacle. We have personally helped them, even though we could not save any of their guards, but they know the situation. They have seen it with their own eyes. They will help.
He kind of finishes off his drink as you're talking. I'm afraid even with their help, I do not think we would be, considering that I would even help, that I would even put myself at that risk, you understand? I'm only here at their whim. I only do as the families of Mictlancost inform me to do. It may seem like I have the power in this city, but I do not. There's very little that I can do, you know. If they disapprove or anything along those lines, would I stick my own neck out for you all? I'm sorry. Cannot ask that of me, and I would not ask that of you. I think it's just not my all I try to do is keep this city safe and to keep the families of Mictlancost satiated. You know, they receive their resources, they continue to build their wealth. None of that stops, and the people of the city remain safe within its wall. To do as you are asking, you are directly suggesting that we throw this city into turmoil, that we, if they even would, which I'm not sure they would. It is only their young son that is here. It is not, you know, it's not the patriarch of the family, you know, bidding himself in service to us. And it would be open rebellion against those who built this city, who established it, and who, even now, you know, pay the salaries of those who live here. The miners, the woodsmen, all that now live here are connected to those families. If we were... What you say is just not possible. It would be the end of the city. Or it would be inviting in the Akari family. And I assure you, a family does not get that wealthy without a lot of heinous acts, maybe even more heinous than what is happening in our city now. So, we would simply be inviting another wolf into the den. You understand?
I want to try a diplomacy roll.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you know.
The drink was really nice though. You threw it back and the liquid didn't even land on the floor. It just kind of, you know, it just evaporated almost instantly, right? Like just, you know, no
Right.
sign of that liquid anywhere else. So, but
Right.
how are you attempting diplomacy? Yeah.
So I'm going to try. So after he finishes, I'm going to say, you know, what you said is that sometimes a wolf pack goes too strong, and sometimes there's a leader that has to be changed out. What I propose is, have you ever thought about having an unsanctioned, shadowy police force to take care of issues such as this? One that your hands are clean of, and that the families won't be able to trace it back to you, but would take care of situations such as this. Accidents do happen, unfortunately.
Indeed, you seem to have a good idea of how deep this weed problem goes. Maybe you could impart this information upon us, and the investigation officially ends here. But unofficially continues in the background with your support.
Go ahead and you can attempt a diplomacy check here. Although it will be a bit tough considering Anister's diplomacy check. So,
I'm gonna
You're
I'm
gonna hero
gonna
point that?
that one.
Okay. Alright.
Here's hoping it's not a 1 now.
Yeah. Not 2 in a row. Okay. 24. Alright. He considers your words. Accidents happen, surely. But how would you... If I were to give you the information, who is responsible? Because I know who is responsible. The moment I saw that creature's skull and the tusks, I know who was capable and who was doing such acts. But how would you suggest making it look like an accident? Because an accident is not wounds, right? An accident is not being attacked and assassinated. To do such a thing, I would have to have complete faith in your ability to just make it look, as you said, like an accident. And I trusted in your ability to research the swamps and come back with hopefully some, at least I was hoping it would be just some quick and easy information to just, put the blame on and move past. But it came back with something more serious, and regardless of whatever decision is made here, I'm sure you have drawn the ire of the families of Mitalancost. And I cannot reassure you more that that is not a good thing. I was hoping that I would invite you into this office, that I would give you a hefty amount of gold, and that you would make yourself sparse in the city. In fact, I was going to offer a voyage out to anywhere you would like. I could set it up right now. You could go anywhere in the world. Just get off of this continent. Because these families will not stop. Because they are all aware too. Because they are all in it together. You understand the position that I am in?
All right, I'm going to try a society check. And
Go ahead.
basically what I'm trying to do is like a recall knowledge of strange circumstances where other members of high society may have, shall we say, had accidents.
Accidents? Okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, the fluctuation here is nice.
Beechcraft, I'm not the greatest in at times.
Fair enough. So as you think clearly, accidents. Anytime there is a loss amongst the elite of Mitalancost, the families of Mitalancost, it is almost never in the form of an accident. This is, a time. They tend to go when their time has come, right? Natural progression of death. They're rich. They're well connected, right? They have any number of clerics and such to help assist them in maintaining themselves for a period of life that is given to them. And so, this is... So trying to recall any moment where any of them would have had an accident is unsuccessful. Although, I will say that upon thinking about this, and having it now kind of confirmed that they all seem to kind of be in on it together, in a sense, Anister, a lot of things start to kind of make sense. A number of the investigations that you've been on, right? You kind of start to get the sense that, like, wait a minute, you were just kind of tying something off for the family, right? You weren't, doing a proper investigation and, clearing up any one thing or another that had happened in the city. No, you were essentially used almost like indirectly as a pawn in their own kind of machinations. And so there were certain times where, the evidence kind of pointed potentially in the not in the direction that things should have, or things tended to kind of make sense, but there'd always be this this drop of evidence that just kind of brushed away any doubts that you may have had in whatever you were working on. And I guess in that natural 20 up to a 29 total, you realize that anytime you've been brought in as a second lead investigator, it's always been at the disposal of the families of Mitalankos. And in a sense, you are part of the numerous cover-ups that has kept those elite families out of public, out of any public negative, like public negativity.
Right.
And Kadmao just kind of looks at you like, like, you understand why it's, why things are the way they are. The Carranza family is, and you haven't brought up the Carranza family just yet, right? But
right.
Your suspicion was of Victor, right? The young scion.
Yeah.
But Kadmao just kind of offers it freely. The Carranza family is, more than just wealth unimaginable from the mountains and the resources of the region. They have connections with very powerful people, and a lot of what is taken here is sent back to Doldur to assist the dwarves and those who, the most powerful in Kalor. This idea of a secret police and assassins that just, clear up any trouble is romantic. It is, it is, it sounds very nice. But in practice, the minute you attempted to hurt one of them, that would be the end for you all and anybody connected to you. Family, village, what have you. They would see to it that it is all ended. I have family. I have things and people to live. He's going to kind of lean down, and you see now he's kind of reaching through one of the compartments in the desk, and he kind of will kind of pull up this pretty hefty looking lockbox and just kind of set it down, and it has a lot of weight to it because he kind of sets it on top of the desk. Kind of looks across the table. You want take the gold. Keep yourself safe. And he kind of pushes the lockbox across the desk over into your side of it. As he does so, I'm going to say, Torsten and Obak, you've arrived at the Ironmonger's Hall. You kind of make your way in. Looking around, it seems like everything is scarce. The young assistant of Kadmao, Nikos, is currently kind of cleaning up what is left behind on the kind of the presentation desk that is in the center of the hall. Just kind of stowing away the last few items and such. I kind of look up at the two of you. Come to claim your reward.
Yes. Do you know where our comrades are? Have they already come and left?
No, I think they are in the personal office of Kadmao in the moment. Would you like for me to show you the way, or are you aware?
I am not aware. I'll kind of look to Torsten and see if he knows. Seeing as he seems to be at least a little more familiar with Cadmill.
I've been here before, damn it all. I'll show him the way.
Fair enough. So, Torsten, you just kind of take the lead and follow back to, the familiar. You've been in this office a couple of times. You've had heated conversations with Cadmill, right? Where you've pressured into, doing something, and it's always been, you fool, you old fool, right? Stick to your swamps, right? Stay out of the city. That's been a lot of what has kind of been presented your way. And so you make your way down that unfortunate corridor that you've been down too many times unsuccessfully, but now, you feel like you've got, so much on your side that it cannot be successful. Although the attempt at erasing some evidence is, certainly bothersome. Thankfully you've saved it, but in any case, it seems, at least from your point of view, that Cadmill is up to his same old. And so you reach the dark oak door that is the office of Cadmill. You give it a knock. And as you do so, you'll hear from beyond the door, right? As the knock kind of comes through, Anister and Akaya, it'll kind of make Cadmill kind of jump to attention for a moment, right? Like kind of scares him. And then he kind of looks at the two of you and then will stand up, kind of pushing his chair back and slowly making his way over to the door and start to kind of unlock, one at a time. And as he does each one, that runic arcane sigil will kind of drop each time until final lock is done, and the door will kind of half crack open as Cadmill looks through and sees Torsten and Obak. It's you. And then get in. I'm explaining the way of things to the two of your comrades. So best we finish this up now. And he'll kind of open the door further for the two of you to step in. So, as you make your way inside, he'll close the door and relock everything. Each arcane sigil kind of, flaring for the moment as each lock is finished. So, Anister, Akaya, if you want to inform them of everything I've told you. I think it's, you kind of take a step back over to the desk itself and kind of lay his hand on the lockbox that he's kind of placed at in front of you all, and just kind of pat it heavily. So much so that you hear the coin on the inside, right? Kind of tumble, jostling, kind of letting you know that there is a large amount of gold in there for the four of you. So, do you, Anister or Akaya, just inform Obak and Torsten Meta, right? Everything we've just discussed.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Relay everything to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Torsten and Obak, you're informed, and so at that moment, right, as Anister and Akaya finish kind of explaining everything, Cadmill is just kind of sitting back in the chair and just kind of looking at you all kind of expectantly, waiting for some sort of a response.
Obak will turn to Cadmill and say, "Are these families connected to the cults? It's more than just the families, isn't it? They have agents in the swamps."
Exactly. Yes. They're connected all the way through. From the top down, these elite families have resources available to them to do anything that they would want. Like erase your village if they so chose.
Already
whatever.
done that. He'll kind of just grumble to himself.
Yeah. Roll me a perception check as he says that.
Perception. There we go.
24. Okay. He says it. It seems entirely coincidental because he doesn't really say it with any kind of pressure behind it. Meta-wise, if you'd failed, I would have told you it seemed like he knew something. As he informed, right? That's too specific of a phrase, right? Erase your village, right? But in any case, the way he says it, it comes off completely just very strange coincidence in the choice of words there. You know, and Racial Village, right? They've got connections high and low, and there are powerful people, powerful, you know, more than even the families that appreciate them for what they do. Here, you know, powerful lords of Doldur, you know, who would not see to, you know, any of these families being removed from station. That's why I've told you so many times. It kind of turns and focuses on you, Torsten. Stay out in the swamps. Stay out of the city. Everything you bring to attention, of course there's something behind it. It's these damned families, but
You could have told me that from the beginning and saved us wasting a bunch of our time if you knew that your folk were responsible for this, Kami.
I thought the less
It wasn't
information.
easy bringing that skull back, you know. These ones, and you know, it's okay for me. I'm used to it, but these ones, and he'll point to the other members of the party and say they risk their lives for that.
Yeah, they're now gladly rewarded, right? And he kind of pushes on the lockbox.
I don't want your damn gold, Kami. I want the swamps to be safe.
Well,
I want the city to stop interfering with nature. I don't believe you. How can you know all this is going on and just sit back and do nothing about it?
What am I to do? Risk family? Risk everything? It's easy.
Maybe if enough people did that, then it wouldn't be this way.
It's an easy judgment to cast when you have nothing. Nothing to lose. But
Who the hell says I have nothing to lose? I've dedicated my life to those swamps, and they're being eaten away and warped and distorted.
There are other swamps on other continents.
He'll turn sort of bright pink in anger and sort of say, "Each swamp's like a fingerprint. It's unique, can't be replaced so easily. How can you be so blasé about it? Ah, you're worthless, Kami."
Worthless but necessary. Without me, you do not know the things that these families would get up to. You do not know. I keep them at the gates, not preying upon those within the city itself. If they must take resources from the land, then so be it.
Well, this entire endeavor was just a waste of time then, won't it? I'm just gonna have to protect the swamps on my own, without your assistance.
I'll do what I can.
Let's say the rest of you. What do you intend to do about this?
Yeah.
Bobak's got quite a serious look about him, realizing that the people here, or these families that everyone seems to think are so important, he doesn't really have the same appreciation of nobility. We're connected with the cults that took everything away from him. Kind of just has a dark expression on and says nothing.
Kind of looks.
Yeah. Just no expression, just kind of unhappy, but not going to say anything.
Cadmail, if you may indulge my curiosity, what is the goal of these families in these doings? What are they seeking to bring about? Is this related to the Hungering Star?
I am not sure what connection to the Hungering Star that any of the families within the city have, but surely they cannot be too bothered by the event. The goal is, as usual, to ensure as much wealth as they would like. To use this location for as long as it is prosperous, and then potentially move on, I assume. But for now, meet the long costs stands, and the families, not the elite families, but the regular families, those working families, still have a way to earn and can continue to survive despite the unnatural interest the elite of the city seem to have.
Is that really all this is? A dark academic interest in necromancy?
Well, that's what it was last time. Annister here played a part in covering that up as well. The young scion of the Carranza family, Victor. He had an interest like what you saw, the amalgamation of two creatures or more. We had to ensure that didn't get out to the public, because the public would then turn on the families, and what would we have but civil war within the city. Mr. Although he may not know it, had a part in ensuring that information stayed safe. Victor is misguided right now, but maybe in time these interests will fade. That's complete horseshit, right? But he says it anyways, like, like a hope, right? Well, maybe, right? Maybe you'll grow out of it, sort of kind of statement. In any case, what would you suggest? Would you, attack? What, you would kill one and then what? Where does it end? They all have these dark interests. Some darker than others, yes. But this here, the elephant alligator, surely is to be the work of Victor Kranza.
I'm not interested in cleaning up the rotten filth and corruption of this city. Civilization breeds these things. But if this what is it? This house of yours, this Victor. If he's going to continue creating these creatures and letting them out into the swamp, then he has to be punished. He has to be dissuaded from this. I'm committed to this. I will defend the swamp, but well, I guess you've said your piece, Calme. You don't intend to help us, do you? Or help me?
How could I? offer a solution that does not put my family and my life in danger.
Well, there must be something you can do. Weapons, equipment, arms, information, that would be enough.
It's not difficult to find Victor Kranza. He is always out and about in the city. But again...
Aye, but what of his agents? What of whichever labs are producing these creatures? And how are they getting into the swamp unnoticed? Come on, Calme, surely that's something at least you can do. With all your spies and your schemes and such. I thought that was what you were good at.
Yeah. Kind of thinks it over, you know. Kind of looks back at you. Like he's really, really, like, heavily considering what comes next. And as he kind of goes to speak up, you know, respond to you, there's a sharp knock at the door. Kadmao kind of stops and looks suspiciously towards the door itself, and then back to the four of you. You can see that there's genuine, kind of like genuine fear now, as he kind of slowly pushes the chair back, stands up, and starts to kind of slowly make his way across the room. He keeps an eye on the four of you, though, right? Looking at you closely. You know, keeping his head is even turned away from the door as he moves closer towards it, right? He knows this room, so he doesn't have to watch where he walks to ensure he gets where he needs to go. And as he reaches the door, he starts to slowly unlock, kind of one by one. And just as he reaches the last one, he will turn back to the four of you, unlock it, and slowly start to pull the door open. And I think it's a good place to pause and pick up next time. If you could stick around, I want to talk to the four of you as far as what comes next real quick, just to kind of get everybody's opinion. But yeah, go ahead and give me just a second, sign out on the stream and stuff, but I'll be back in just one moment, so appreciate it. 1 second. Alright, so thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed. This was the 6th session of our Saturday campaign, Dead Waters. We'll be back Monday to continue with the 6th session of our Monday campaign, Valdiran Nights. So thank you all for watching. Hope you had a good day or a good evening, depending on where you are in the world. If you'd like to get involved in the community, or you know, potentially as a member of a future game, the best place to be is in the Discord, as that is where I reach out first whenever I am recruiting for the next cycle. We are reaching the end, so that is the best place to be. In any case, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day, a good evening, depending on where you are in the world, and maybe we'll see you next time. If not, we'll see you when we see you. Peace.